damn button then.
I did. Hi, everybody. You see what I have to put up with? You see what I have
Apparently
to put up
not.
with? Well, no, they can't. They do now, and they heard you.
They just see that you're yelling at me.
They heard you. They. No, I let them hear too.
Oh,
they can
good.
hear me yelling.
Did you guys hear me say click the damn button, Chives? Because I mean, it was already 6 o'clock at that point.
I believe
it was already 6 o'clock. I was so patient. I didn't put TikTok Chives in the chat. That was how patient I was being.
And also we were having a literary discussion.
Yep. Oh, good pizza.
Yeah. Hi everybody in the chat. Diego asks, do you like Danny Elfman or Kevin MacLeod? Please tell me. It's like you're desperate to know. Please tell me. I love Kevin MacLeod because I have used a lot of his music in my videos over the years, and he is indeed a treasure. And I love Danny Elfman. He's one of my favorite film composers. I think he was the preeminent film composer in Hollywood in the 1990s for sure. And yes, I adore Danny Elfman.
I have a beef with him, but other than that, sure.
Oh, because of the Shirley Walker thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand that. But
we were all robbed.
I adore Danny Elfman. He's composed some of my favorite scores. So anyway, we were having an argument about a particular. Okay, so we're, and I just want to tell everybody this was your idea.
Argument implies there's more than one point of view, but okay.
Well, there are 2 points of view. There's my point of view and there's your point of view.
I guess you could say that. I mean, there's my point of view and then the wrong point of view.
God, you're so arrogant.
You're so
incredibly arrogant.
God.
No, so we were talking about a line in The Great Gatsby, which is my favorite novel and which you have no use for whatsoever. And there's a line in the bit that I was just reading to you where Gatsby describes Daisy's voice, and he says her voice is full of money. And then I said that reminded me of a David Mamet line, which was, everybody loves money. That's why they call it money. Which I think is a terrific line, but you were not impressed by it.
Nope.
And you're not impressed by the Gatsby line either. So you don't like money. I know you're an anarchist, but I mean, you don't like money related lines.
I have nothing against money. I have nothing against money, but the fact that he says something so asinine. Okay, granted, I could accept that, yeah, he's an ass. Okay, fine, whatever. And then, Nick through the narration is like, that was it. That was what it was. I'm like, no. Like, no.
Well, but he explained what he meant by it. That Daisy was like the golden child. Her voice was full of money. Meaning it's like everything she just radiates the sort of royal sense, the sort of privileged, touched by, providence, whatever this, like special chosen quality that she supposedly has.
So chosen quality, yes, I'll give you that. That's golden child. That's not the same. That's a different plane than money. It's a different axis.
You don't accept that it's just a different way of describing it?
It's a different way of describing something because you're describing something that's different. It's a different thing.
Even though he explicitly ties it to the Golden Girl thing.
No, he says it's tied to the Golden Girl thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it is. Wow, he makes this connection.
Okay. I feel like that. I mean, look, I respect your opinion I respect your right to your opinion, that you don't like the book, and you cannot like the book for whatever reason you don't like it. But to me, that sounds like nitpicking.
Now,
that sounds like overanalyzing.
No, it's absolutely not. That's not what it means. Like, that's not what the golden child means. It's not what the golden child means. Like, having everything you do be successful, that's being a golden child. Now, I will say Daisy's a golden child in that everybody loves her. That's it. But that's a separate axis from money. As we see with Tom and Gatsby. They both have money, but not everybody loves them. So that's a different, it's a different thing. Yeah.
Quite a few people don't love Tom.
Exactly.
Mr. I Love the Ants is on your side, by the way, Dana.
Well, I will say, I will say there is one thing I like about the book. There's at least one thing. I'm
Can I
still trying to
guess?
come up with. I'm waiting. There might be something else because we haven't finished it yet.
I
Oh,
have a guess.
I'm sure you can figure it out because it ain't that hard to figure out. Go for it.
It's short.
It's skinny. Oh, but God, how is something that short so interminable? My God,
I think
why
it's
aren't we done yet?
I think it's exquisite, but um, like I said,
You're biased,
to
Steve.
each their. How am I biased? I read it when I was like a teenager and I liked it. How is that biased?
The same reason that you like films. You hilariously, you pretend that you don't, or you, no, you don't pretend. It's not a pretense. You honestly believe that you don't like pretension. Like you railed earlier today. Was it today? Was it yesterday? I think it was today. You railed against Tolkien because he's so
Oh
overwrought
yeah,
and so overblown.
which Mr. I Love the
And
Ants just mentioned The Hobbit in the chat as well as serendipitous. Yes.
um, and then you also don't like Baz Luhrmann. Baz
Oh my
Luhrmann.
God.
Baz Luhrmann is the perfect director for this dadgum book because,
Let me tell you,
oh my God,
as we've talked about before,
as you've mentioned,
once he gets all the Baz Luhrmann bullshit out of his system in the first 20 minutes or so, Baz Luhrmann's Great Gatsby movie is actually pretty good.
and see, that's what I would think about Frank's book,
Frank.
but he didn't do that. He didn't do that. Yeah, like I said some of this stuff to the English teacher next to me who teaches this
Yes.
book, and I referred to Frank, and she's like, Frank? And she's thinking about it. I'm like, F. Scott Fitzgerald. And she's like, oh, that's right, Francis. I'm like, yeah,
Francis. Francis. Or as Pee Wee Herman would say, Francis.
Sis, not Cess. Let's be clear.
Yes. Diego Lorente. Yes, of course I have watched He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I think I've seen
So many different versions.
I've at least sampled every version of it. I have not been a fan. Like I watched the first couple episodes of the Kevin Smith one on Netflix, the newer one, and I just couldn't do it. I was just like, no, this is just insufferable. So I thought Mark Hamill was good as Skeletor.
That's
but
such a good word.
But that's it. And then I watched they did like another new version on Netflix as well that was aimed like at younger audiences, like it was like for little kids. And I watched I think I watched part of the first episode of that and just thought, okay, this clearly is not for me. Like it was really aimed at like a young audience, and I wasn't interested, and I didn't watch any more of it. But yeah, I watched the Filmation cartoon in the 80s. That was like appointment television.
So,
yeah.
Question.
Yes.
You said you recognized that it wasn't for you. Was it good, in terms of, this isn't for me, but, if I'd been the target, if you'd been a munchkin, do you think you would have been like, yes, this is awesome?
I didn't get that. I didn't really get that sense of it. Sometimes on rare occasions, I have watched something that I felt no personal connection to, but I also had some sense that there was quality to it that I just, but with the He-Man thing, I didn't get that sense. But that doesn't mean that, it just didn't interest me. It didn't interest me, and so it's impossible for me to have any kind of opinion about it other than that. But yeah.
So, Liz, what I said to the teacher next door is I want to get Frank and Ernie together and like smash their heads together and be like, look, you're on opposite sides. If you guys can like smush your brains into one thing and write a novel, then maybe it would be tolerable. Maybe it would be good.
And just for everybody's clarification, Ernie would be Ernest Hemingway. And here's what it's a shame. Like, they've all left us now. They're all bones in the ground now. But I'll tell you what I would like to do. You'd like to take F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway and smash them together and let them write one novel between them. I would like to put a shotgun and Ernest Hemingway's hand and point him in the direction of J.R.R. Tolkien and say, "You know what you need to do, Ernie. You know what has to be done."
I think it would actually be, I would, appreciate literature more if Mary Shelley read Ernest Hemingway and then wrote more.
Interesting. Why do you say, like, she would read it and then what, like, it would influence her style, or her style would be like a reaction against, like,
her style would be a reaction to it, because, well, yeah, not so much a reaction against the spareness, but a way to clarify and streamline her prose, because it kind of does this, and it's also very it definitely meanders, and it's also very idea driven. The characters themselves, like, I get the idea that she knew what she wanted them to be, but it's not just that there's no description, it's that, and they're also not just representations, but they just sort of do things, and they don't necessarily do things that reveal their character or help us to understand who they are as people. They say things that she thinks are interesting, or that, to some degree move the plot forward. There is a fair amount of expository dialogue there. So, sort of funneling things toward a story, and not just about cutting what's unnecessary, although that too, but making sure that what the through line is and everything serves the story. So murder your darlings kind of type thing.
Yeah, I can't argue with that in principle.
Murder your darlings, but also guide them a little bit more. Don't let them just kind of do their thing.
Yeah. That's another book I should reread. It's been I think I've only actually read Frankenstein once, and I remember really liking it. I remember reading Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and enjoying it, and thinking as I was reading it, is that your, yeah, it's also a short book, yeah. And I remember as I was reading it thinking, this is so much better than Dracula. because there have been a lot of really good movies based on Dracula. Dracula as a book has never been a book I've enjoyed. I've never enjoyed Dracula as a book. But Frankenstein I thought was an excellent book.
Yeah. And it does a bunch of things, and it does them well, but it kind of jumps from one thing to another. Like, the epistolary parts are good, but they take up a big old chunk of the book, but then the book is not an epistolary novel. So it kind of like does different things, and that definitely makes it a challenge to teach. And then the other thing is that I think it's a book that resists being made into a movie, because yes. Okay. Well, resists being made into a movie that effectively conveys the ideas in the book. Because one of the central ideas is that the creature is a hottie. And that's usually it describes, like, it predates, but it absolutely predicts the uncanny valley. The creatures in the uncanny valley. Like, yeah. Frankenstein chooses all these parts to make this. It's Rocky, not like Rocky, but Rocky from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
You've seen that, right?
I've seen it. Yes,
okay.
I've seen
so
it,
you know,
I saw
who I mean,
like,
and you know how everyone gushes over Rocky. It's that kind of thing, that he has like this Adonis type body, and he's so good looking, and also he becomes like a scholar, like he's completely self-educated, and so he is essentially a Renaissance man. He's the ideal of, this is the pinnacle of what humanity could be, and yet, because he is so unnatural, there is something about him that just makes people go, ugh.
Yeah.
And it's not expressed that directly in the novel, but if you think about it, why do people react to him this way? It's because there is something about him that Shelley doesn't like come out and directly say, and doesn't describe. So you kind of have to figure it out, but that's what it is. He is unnatural and therefore inherently repulsive.
Yeah.
And yeah. Snake bit cat. Yeah. It's not that hard actually. It's just a jump to the left and then a step to the right. Anyway, that's fun to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, Frankenstein is great.
Yeah. And it is interesting that and the same thing with Dracula. I mean, Frankenstein and Dracula are probably the two most well-known horror novels in the English language, and they've both been filmed countless times. Almost none of the films are faithful to either book. I mean, you can find ones that are more or less, and there are some that make more of an attempt to be faithful to the source material, but the most well-remembered films based on the books tend to be ones that, just kind of take the basic premise and then go off, and go off in roughly the same direction as the novel, but don't make an effort to incorporate a lot of stuff from the novel. I mean, God, the James Whale Frankenstein movie with Boris Karloff, there has, other than some essential elements, has very little in common with the book at all.
Yeah.
And same thing with the best of the Dracula movies,
Yeah. It would be fun to see Frankenstein not as creature horror, but as existential horror. About what it means to be human and what it says about us that we reject something that is theoretically, physiologically human. And, all of those sorts of, questions, and what it means to be alone,
Yeah.
So yeah. Snake bit cat, this is the first I've heard of Poor Things. Steve probably has heard of it because
I've heard of it.
He is much more of a movie buff than I am, which is like not so much a low bar as it is a ditch. Just take a step over that, and just.
I've heard of it, and I do really want to see it. It sounds very interesting. Emma Stone was nominated for Best Actress for it, and it was also nominated for Best Picture. And Emma Stone has had a really interesting last
several years.
Last several years, but particularly because she was Poor Things is apparently really good, and she's really good in it. And she was the co-star of a show on Showtime with Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie called The Curse.
I've seen ads for that. Looks really
that was extraordinary. It's such a great show. It's one of my favorite TV shows of the previous year. Like it was brilliant, and she is so good in it. And I've liked her in a lot of stuff. Right. Like I've always thought she was a good actress, and she is so good in The Curse that about like 3 or 4 episodes in, I actually had the conscious thought, God damn, Emma Stone is good in this. Like, not that she wasn't good before, but it's like, it's just,
but she was so good that it took you out of the movie.
Having such a standout, and it's playing such an endlessly fascinating, complicated, difficult, like challenging character. She's just great. I mean, and so is Nathan Fielder, and so is, the whole show is great, but like she specifically stands out as like, holy shit, she's doing like the best work I think she's ever done. And then she gets nominated for an Oscar the same year, and it's like, God damn. It's like, remember when she was Gwen Stacy in those Spider-Man movies nobody wanted? Now here she is. Yeah.
What's the
Andy Warhol's Frankenstein, Snake Bit Cat. I did see that.
What's the one where she ate the noodles while crying? That just popped into my head.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember,
nothing.
But yeah.
I got nothing, but yeah. Like that just bumped in my head. Or was it ice cream? In my brain, she's having ramen. But it might have been ice cream. I don't know.
Your brain might have swapped. I find it hard to believe that your brain would have replaced ice cream with ramen.
Hey,
ramen is great. Don't get me wrong.
Carbs. But here's the thing: we know it wasn't pie because I would have remembered that.
Pie would have been seared in there.
Pie, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So shall we?
Yes, I know it's only 6:20, but man, I am today was the first thoroughly good day that I had at school, but it was because I was on top of my game every freaking second. Like, we had stuff that went wrong, and that was okay. I was able to figure it out, and I was like, all right, I need you to be patient with me first. So I would go, like, what I'm doing on the ViewSonic board does not match what the heck is going on their computers. Don't know why. And it worked for me on my computer. So now I go over, work with this one student, go through it a bit. Okay, here's what we need to do. And I can't show you on the ViewSonic board, but I can show you where you need to go and where you need to click and what you need to do, even though I can't do it because, like, I don't have certain things because it's a, touch screen instead of a laptop. Like, it was so hard, but I did a really good job today. And I'm proud of myself, and I'm so proud of my students, and I'm exhausted. So let's do the show, do the Wordle, and I'm like literally already packed for tomorrow. I'm ready to go to bed now. But it's okay because I want to see Poirot. Then.
So we are watching Poirot this week. We are watching How Does Your Garden Grow, which is the second episode of Series 3. So hopefully you've all got that queued up and ready to go.
Very poorly, Dame Agatha, unfortunately, in my case. I I don't grow a garden. I kill it.
Dana, would you like to tell everybody how this works?
Yeah. Okay. So get that queued up. There's a link in the description? Is there a link?
There's a link. There's a link in the pinned message in the live chat.
There we go. Pinned message in the live chat. And and watch it. And so get that queued up, and then make sure you're at 0000. And since this is Steve's channel, he's gonna say 3, 2, 1, play. And not on one, but on play. Click play. And then we'll all just watch along. And sometimes, it's not perfectly synchronized. So just kind of keep an eye on your time. And if your time's like way off from ours, from like what it says up there, then adjust accordingly. Or just not, because we're not going to be singing along.
Exactly. We're not going to be quoting dialogue. This isn't Clue. Dana will not be quoting dialogue.
Or a Disney movie.
Or that's true. Or Galaxy Quest.
All right. Galaxy Quest. All right, so I think that's it, and I am at 0000. I'm ready, Steve.
Me too. All right,
over
your fingers hovering over. Okay, here we go. I will count us in. I will count us in, as Dana said, and we will start watching How Does Your Garden Grow, starring Poirot. Here we go.
I mean, not really, but okay.
3, 2, 1, play.
I mean, it doesn't actually star Poirot. He's a fictional character, Steve.
That's true. He doesn't really exist.
Also, I got rained on as I was coming out of it. Like, it started raining harder, so I just got drenched. No fun. It's okay, though. I'm dry now.
Mr. Armor, Clue is definitely a possibility if we ever get back around to watching watching like a movie together on a Friday. Yeah. We could definitely do Clue at some point.
We should. That would be a challenge. I would be like,
well, it would be a challenge for you to not just recite the whole thing. Yeah.
The entire thing. No notes. Just recitation. Whereas Princess Bride we could do, but there would be notes.
Ooh, Princess Bride. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Everybody loves Princess Bride. Even, what's his name? Yardman. Elon. Lawn. Yard.
Elon.
Yeah, he said something about the Princess Bride, and I was like, oh my God, really? I think he was trying to get nerd cred.
Well, yeah. Yo, really? Elon? I've never heard such a thing.
You could, Mr. I Love the Ants, and then watch the movie and just, see my mouth flapping along.
Boy, she's really animated now.
This must be another one of her favorite parts. Oh, I love the costumes. Oh! Okay, then. In case you were wondering. Are you breaking pieces off your pizza to eat them?
There's a little piece of cheese.
Okay, fair enough.
By the way, doesn't that picture of Stalin that we saw a minute ago, doesn't that look like Frank Frazetta painted that? It's like a very like stylized Stalin portrait.
It's, I mean, it's, I don't know. I do have peanuts, by the way. They're in the other room. Oh, interesting. He said Tolkien is dead. No, he didn't. I don't know what he said.
Hallelujah.
Oh, did you send me that Seamus Haney thing? I didn't see it. Oh, hey.
The first text. The first text message.
Oh golly. That when this came out, it didn't have that same meaning. That is hilarious. Well, I always thought there was something a little bit, about him. Mr. Aliens. Exactly.
I can see a Stalin picture like that, Snake Pit Cat.
Maybe it's like a hand battle axe, and the other arm is like flexing.
Oh, who gave her that bell? Take that bell away from her. You rang every white person's grandma? I'd be careful, lady. She could break you in half. Just a dab of Old Spice.
And it was a very shrill bell too, Snake Pit Cat. That was impressive. Ding, 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 ding. And she could go again. I shall have to show you my. Have I shown you my silver bell?
I think you have at some point, yeah.
Notice he doesn't adjust the mustache because it's already perfect.
It's exactly what it needs to be. He doesn't want to disturb it, yeah.
It's mine, I tell you.
I hear there's a tournament of roses. The Poirots. amiable company, and you, Inspector.
Hay fever. HB Haga or a flutophone. God, I'm so glad I didn't have kids who took music. Where are you going? To find a pub.
I want a brochure. I'm just going to eat some of these seeds.
Dun dun dun.
Wink, wink. Cut to Hastings. But I don't understand, Poirot. There are no seeds in here at all.
Oh, Christie loves her intrigue.
A please would be nice. It's back when wheelchairs were just regular chairs with wheels nailed to them. All loaded for your magic trick.
She's fun.
God, I love her. The look on his face.
To lean toward me.
Oh. You may keep the handkerchief, Hastings.
There's nothing that can clear it adequately. C'est très curieux.
Drinking weed killer. You're not into that weed killer again, are you? The body of Christ, ma'am.
Hastings, why don't you stay here?
Yeah, exactly.
Why can't I go?
Exactly. Hastings, I want you to keep away from me. You're my boyfriend, Jesus. Russian Orthodoxy. It's the brightest and cheeriest of all the Christian denominations. Ooh. Must have been something in that Alka-Seltzer I choked down earlier. He's talking to Charlie Brown's parents. I guess I'll just check random drawers until I happen upon it.
Oh God. He's gonna try to figure out Miss Lemon's. He's gonna try to figure out Miss Lemon's filing system.
Well, I found her old magazines. So Hastings' subplot in this episode is looks for something in Miss Lemon's office.
For a while.
I knew the Andrew Dice Clay version. It's a little different. Can't say I'm surprised. That happens a lot around me. He's so rude. He didn't even offer Poirot a glass of weed killer. I love looking at dead people.
Kill her pretty quick.
Yes, who had strychnine for dinner?
Someone did.
A cold-blooded poisoner.
Mais oui, bien sûr. Or as they say in France, en italien.
I have no idea what you just
Very,
said. I'm sure
en
it was. I'm sure it was great
Italian.
though. Italian?
Yep. I mean, you know, the Borgias kind of set the standard for that kind of thing.
Good point.
Except. Hmm. Oh, wow. Puppy. wow, that would suck. I mean, I'm sure they don't know, but
what, their contest being turned into a metaphor so that
yeah,
so
so
that
that
the
the
guy
lawyer can talk about something
yeah,
else.
yeah.
Dun dun dun. I can walk away.
Miss Lemon's like, oh, don't mind me.
Uh,
You know, you should always listen to me, Dan. Racist.
just one more thing.
The rodeo? I must break him.
We must keep to the schedule. That is very important.
Oh man, Hastings, you're in trouble.
Oh God.
Just kill yourself. Just jump out the window.
Claim that you've been robbed.
Exactly. Feign unconsciousness when she walks in. Oh, I don't remember. Someone hit me from behind.
I mean, obviously, yeah.
Two gigantic pennies. Here you go.
We're letting you see what our prop master does.
I guess she had to take a piss. Give her a nickel ride, boys.
No, no, no.
No, you fool.
Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, indeed. You don't even know, my dude. No, you don't. Ow.
What a classy fish. Look at him with his little hat and his cigar.
Ah, yes, Mr. I love the ants. I remember Mr. Inglethorpe.
Hey, thank you, Abraham Schumann. Your icon is the same as my hat. Check it out.
Hey.
Bum bum bum.
Don't say anything.
Don't say that. Oh yeah, she's making a run for it. Bye. Oh shit, it's the fuzz.
Oh, what are we gonna do?
She's on the loose again. What? Just a little nip for the road. Well, you didn't think I was really drinking weed killer all these years, did you?
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Oh, they're so ridiculous. It's delightful.
so beautifully over the top. The passion threatens to smolder through the screen.
You were trying to protect her.
Oh.
His voice cracks. God, I love how ridiculous it is.
Go home and nurse your unfortunate affliction. Poirot does smell good. Oh, that was a good one.
That was so much fun. Oh my God, that was so much fun.
That was a really good one.
It was, oh.
I like that one a lot. Oh my God. The breakdown of the suspect.
Man, that was some like Cisco level scene chewing there.
Oh, that was yeah, chewing the scenery. Absolutely. Incredible. And then,
Risky.
You know, it's like one of those, it's like what I said, you know, how I love when you get to a payoff that you didn't even realize was set up. It's like you just figure, well, he hides his booze in the weed killer bottle. It's just a little joke. And then it actually pays off at the end. You know?
She's like, I'll just die. And she's like,
whiskey?
Oh.
You fool. Kirak 2011, thank you for the member message. Says, Steve, I have a weird sort of question. I don't use X that much, but I got a @Kirak 2011 from you from there. Not sure if you was addressing I said. I have no idea what you're saying, my friend. Are you saying that you just got like an account on Twitter? Please don't call it X.
Nope, it's Twitter, their tweets.
Yeah, but I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. So if you can clarify, that would be great. But yeah, and Mr. I Love the Ants, exactly. Poirot, he's not wearing perfume. He's wearing a discreet manly cologne.
Manly cologne.
That he shook. He shook generously into the palm of his hand when he applied it.
Yep. And you know, his tisane is an herbal. It is a warm herbal beverage that is quite manly as well.
Very manly. You know, when you think of Hercule Poirot, you think of manliness in its purest, most unadulterated form. I think.
Steve, I think the Contessa is the one I was telling you about. She is one of my favorite characters. Yes. The one that Poirot admires her so much for her panache and her absolute calm self-collectedness, even when she loses her prize. And he says, "Oh, Madame, I hope that we meet sometime again." And she says, "And I do not. Goodbye, Mr. Poirot."
Yeah, you told me about that the other day. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's so good.
So
and
shall
of course,
we?
She also loved playing with the Bolsheviks. You know, she was very, very classist and highly anti-communist. She's like, no, those revolutionary dogs.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yes. I wonder why she would have a problem with a group of people who violently overthrew an aristocratic government. Kirak 2011 says, if people are adding me the way I read the tweet, it didn't seem like it had anything to do. The way I read the tweet, it didn't seem like it had anything to do. I had said I still have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about.
If you didn't at him on Twitter,
I didn't at no. I mean, yeah, maybe somebody maybe
somebody
like
with a
someone
similar name.
somebody with a similar name or an imposter account or something. But no, I did not at you on Twitter anytime recently. If that's what you're asking, if Dana is correct in deducing your meaning.
With a little yourselves.
So shall we play Wordle and then you can go to bed?
I'm tucking the heck in.
All right, everybody, we're going to play Wordle. This is today's Wordle from the New York Times, don't you know? And the way this works is Dana takes the lead and kind of, handles playing the game with help from me and also with help from all of you in the chat. Dana does not actually see the Wordle board. She's only going by my description of it. So the way this works is if you have not played today's Wordle and you would like to join us, please feel free to throw in your own suggestions and guesses in the chat. But if you know the answer, please do not give it away. And also, please do not give us any hints. We want to do this the right way. We want to do this the honest way. Okay.
However, feel free to mock our incorrect guesses.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes, please.
All right.
Always. Yeah. Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Let's start with our usual one.
Start with heart.
Mm-hmm.
Heart. And that gives us an E in the right place.
Ooh.
And an R in the wrong place. And that's it.
All
so
right.
no H, no A or T.
All right. So let's go with lions and see what we get.
Lions gives us. Oh, okay. Well, this is Lions gives us an L and an I, but both in the wrong place. So now we know 4 of the 5 letters, and we know there's no N, no O, and no S. The second letter is E, and there's an R and an L and an I in there somewhere.
But the N is not the next to last letter.
Well, there's no N at all.
There's no N. Okay, so
there is no
this
N.
This is why there's a challenge. Okay, so what did Lions gave us? An L
and an I.
And an I.
But
just the L
but
and
both
the
in
I.
the wrong. But both in the wrong position.
So we have 3 letters. The E is in the right place.
The E is in the right place. Well, we have 4 letters. We have the R too. There's
R,
the E and the E is the second letter, and then there's an R and an L and an I somewhere about. Yeah.
Relic. No, wait, there's no L. There's no L.
No, yes, there is. Yes, there is.
There is an L?
L and an I.
Relic.
Yeah.
Relic.
I think that might be it. I believe you might have it. Let's see. There we go. Relic.
I feel so good.
You did it.
I did it. I think I sent you the one yesterday that I got late in the evening. Man,
yeah,
that one
you got it in like
doozy. I think I got it in 4, maybe 5, but like I don't even remember what it was. But Heart gave me next to nothing. Lions gave me I think I got like 1 letter from each Heart and Lions, and then my third one when I'm like I don't know what the hell's going on is Clump. If I'm if I get something from Heart and Lions, and I'll be like okay, I'll try to figure it out. And then I still didn't have anything, but I was just like, I just had to look at what was left and go, what the heck could it be? And I got it on the next one. I was like, okay. So I felt really good about that one. So that was really neat. So yeah, it's I really enjoy it when it's just, I don't know, it's fun to like think of how the words fit together. And also it's helped because I've been tutoring a munchkin with math, but also reading. And so yesterday, we stopped math a little bit early, and I said, okay, so I want you to pick out a book to read to me. And hilariously, take a guess as to what book he brought back to me.
The Great Gatsby.
No. But the title was, I'm not kidding, I Will Read to You.
Well, like, I mean, sometimes the obvious choice is the right choice.
And it really was. And they had it was clearly a picture book that was meant for a grown-up to read to a kid, because it wasn't like an easy read book. There were some words I was like, oh crap. Like one of it, let's see, it had the word beneath, and he just looked at it and was like, be, and he's looking at me, I'm like, all right, let's break it into, so I did Benenth. And man, he got stuck on that middle syllable. So I'm like, okay, look at just this. This is B. I'm like, okay, so if that's B, then what is NE? Know what he said?
Nay.
No, he said ne.
Nee.
I'm like,
oh, ne.
You're right. But I'm like, okay, so B is the E. What sound does this make? Say the sound. E. Okay, then this syllable, the two letters NE. He kept going with ne. I'm like, oh my God. And then one time he got knee. I'm like, yes. All right, so say this one. Now say this one. Be ne. Okay. But I eventually got him to get it. But yeah, the whole which letters go together and how they make a sound. And it's one of the things that people are talking about a lot in education. What is it? The science of reading. I think that's a return to phonics. But they had been getting away from using phonics as much and focusing more on sight words. Not that they weren't teaching phonics at all, but that they were focusing a lot more on word recognition through just familiarity. And the problem with that is that you can't then break up new words and figure out what they mean phonetically. You know, you don't have that foundation of skill. It's just not learned as much. And so yeah, once we got B, ni, he was able to get THs. I was like, okay, so say B, ni. And he was like, beneath. I was like, yes, all right.
Huzzah!
Now read me this phrase. And it's just we just built from the little to the big, and then he would read me the phrase, and then the phrase, two lines made one sentence. I'm like, okay, read me the whole sentence, and he would read me the whole sentence. It's like, that's awesome. 2 high fives. And so playing Wordle and thinking about which consonant clusters go at the beginning and which consonant clusters go at the end and how the vowels work together was really helpful in working with my munchkin. So I was really proud of him yesterday. It's pretty cool. So
yes,
you do not have a live stream this Friday, correct?
I do not.
Do not. But so the next thing that's coming up for us is next week, and that means it is a Star Wars week, Steve.
Star Trek. You said Star Wars.
I did, and I told you I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I'm that tired.
I'm not offended. I like Star Wars too.
I know that it's Star Trek, but brain just don't want to Brady. We done. All done. Time for Betty Buys. So yes, Star Trek, specifically DS9.
Deep Space Nine, yes. Yes, we are watching Deep Space Nine again next week. We are watching, and I know I say this a lot, Dana, and you always laugh when I say this.
Is it one of your favorite episodes, Steve?
One of my favorite episodes of Deep Space Nine we're watching next week. It's the second episode of... Go ahead.
It's like one of my favorite lines in Clue.
I know. It's like all of them.
All the thing.
It's the second episode of season 5, and it is called The Ship. I know the title doesn't necessarily light your imagination on fire.
It doesn't tell you
because you're like,
anything.
Isn't that every episode of Star Trek? But
well,
no,
it's not though. It's not, because DS9 is not set on a ship.
It's like if they had an episode of Deep Space Nine called The Space Station, and you're like, ooh, that could be anything.
Gee. That's one of them, Mr. Armour. Mr. Armour, yeah.
Flames on the side of my face.
Breathing, heaving breaths, and just cut. And the reason that cut is there is because they started cracking up.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yes, we will be back next week.
No.
No.
There was only one shot at the chandelier. That means it was 1 + 1 + 2 + 1, not 1 + 2
God,
+
that's
1
such a great
+ 1.
bit. That's such a great bit.
All right, 1 + 2 + Shut up! The point is, there's one bullet left in this gun, and guess who's going to get it? Which, of course, is an incredibly stupid move, because what you should do is what Miss Peacock does, which is point the gun with its only one bullet, because if you shoot him, well, then the rest of them are all going to tackle you. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's close this up. And I'm going to, as another picture book says, go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Yes, of course. Of course. Of course. So, yeah, we'll be back next week for another live stream. We'll be watching Deep Space Nine, The Ship.
Woo!
And and this weekend is my patrons and members live stream on Sunday.
Oh, so, maybe I'll make it. No promises.
I mean, or just take a nap so you're ready to record the podcast, because we're recording podcasts on Sunday as well.
Yep. It's full day. Woohoo!
All right. Well, you have a good night, Dana.
It will be lovely in bed. Like the fortune cookies don't say. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. See you next week.